the 2024 election, Donald Trump won all 7 swing states. But in 4 of those swing states, the Democrat Senate candidate also won. So today we're going to be taking a look at why those Senate Democrats won and how Republicans can learn from that in the future. But before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe so you don't miss any new content. So let's get into it. The first state that a Senate Democrat won in the state that Donald Trump won is the state of Arizona. Now, Arizona, Donald Trump won by 5.5%. Many saw this as an overperformance. He did very well in the state, winning Maricopa County by 3.4%. But that did not translate down to the Senate level, where Kari Lake lost to Ruben Gallego by 2.5%. And so for those who don't know who Kari Lake is, she actually ran for Arizona governor in 2022. And in the weeks coming up into the election, it looked like she was going to win. She was up by 3.5% on election day in the polls, but Katie Hobbs won. Now, Katie Hobbs was one of the worst candidates that the Democrats could have picked. She hardly went out campaigning, she didn't attend debates, and she was really a bad candidate, but Kari Lake still lost to her. And it was really sad to see that she lost by 17,000 votes in a red wave environment in a battleground state. And one of the big reasons why she lost is because she alienated the McCain Republicans. Now, there's a subset of Republicans in Arizona who are more moderate Republicans. They liked John McCain, who wasn't full MAGA. He was definitely a more moderate Republican. He voted against repealing Obamacare. And so a pretty big subset of voters are McCain Republicans. But Kari Lake said some very controversial stuff about the McCain Republicans, and that's one of the reasons why she lost in 2022. Take a look at this ad from the Arizona Democrat Party.
Any McCain Republicans in here, do we? All right, if you get the hell out.
John McCain may be dead, but he is reaching up from the grave trying to keep power on Arizona. Rarely did he do anything good for the people, and the people are aware of that.
Telling a subset of voters in your coalition to get out of here is very polarizing. Like, why would you do that if you're thinking to win? Why would you try to polarize your own party? And so this was definitely one of the big missteps that she had, and because of ads like these, Katie Hobbs was able to win. So after Kari Lake's loss, she was also notorious for denying the election results, saying the election was stolen. She still doesn't admit that she lost the election in 2022. And so she really has a bad stigma in the minds of Arizona voters. And so when you look, she lost by 80,000 votes, even though Donald Trump won the state by 187,000 votes. And it wasn't even like the Republicans at the top of the ticket just didn't vote for her. They voted actively against her. See, Kamala Harris had 1,582,000 votes, but Ruben Gallego had 1,676,000 votes. And so you really have that Trump-Gallego voters in Arizona because Kari Lake was such a bad candidate for the Republicans. And of course, we also do have to talk about fundraising, because fundraising was very bad for Kari Lake. She only raised $25 million. Ruben Gallego raised 4 times Kari Lake did. And also, if you look at outside spending, Gallego also had a lot more outside spending, $56 million to $22 million. And so that was also a big problem. But let's go a little deeper into that Trump-Gallego voter. So this is an exit poll conducted by Fox News, and I want to look at this poll right here. Do you consider yourself to be a supporter of the Make America Great Again movement or not? So we have the Democrats. They voted for Harris by a very big margin, 95%. Then we have independents voting for Harris by a 6% margin, and then not a MAGA Republicans or the McCain Republicans. They voted for Trump by 53%. So that was good. He was able to kind of bring his coalition together. And then you have MAGA Republican, of course, 98% to 1%. But I want to point out one thing right here. So we have Donald Trump winning by a 53% margin. They did the same exact poll. Now, it did have less respondents. It only had like 4,000 respondents. But they did that same poll on Kari Lake. And she only won the McCain Republicans by 32 points. 53 points to 32 points is a major disconnect. And that's because Kari Lake was such a bad candidate, because she polarized her base. And that's why Gallego was able to win in selection. And also look at independent voters. Independent voters voted for Gallego by 28 points when they only voted for Harris by 6 points. So that, of course, was a very big reason why Kari Lake lost. And I think really the major takeaway from this is we should not be endorsing candidates who are very polarizing and have a track record of losing elections. I think one of the major mistakes that Donald Trump did was to endorse Kari Lake in the primary. I think he should have endorsed someone more moderate who would still vote for Donald Trump. So that, of course, is the state of Arizona, but that's not the only state that a Senate Democrat won, even though Trump won the state. Also, we have the state of Nevada. Now, Donald Trump won the state of Nevada by a little over 3 points. He won it by 46,000 votes. He actually raked up 751,000, which is a lot of votes, considering Nevada is a pretty small state. But if you go down ballot to the Senate candidate, we see that Jackie Rosen, the incumbent, also won. On the same ballot, Donald Trump won. And I think one of the big reasons why Jackie Rosen won, even though Trump won, is because you had a lot of voters who would vote for Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, but wouldn't vote for Sam Brown, the Republican, down ballot. And that was a big problem. Look at this, 44,000 people said none of the above. If 44,000 had gone to Sam Brown, he would have won this election. I do have to believe a lot of these none of the above voters were Republicans who voted for Trump but just didn't know who to vote on the Senate level. And I think that's a really big problem. Sam Brown really should have reached out to these Republicans. I don't know, maybe do like rallies with him. I know he did rallies in Nevada, but maybe do ads with him also. You have to be reaching out to these Republicans who only will vote for Trump and they just not vote down ballot. I think that was one of the big problems in the Senate race, and it also was a big problem in the congressional races. Donald Trump won 2 of the congressional seats in Nevada. Republicans only won 1 of those congressional seats. So I think going forward, Sam Brown or whoever runs in the Senate definitely needs to reach out and tie themselves very close to Trump so that the voters who vote Trump will also vote for the Republican down ballot. Now, I know it definitely would be wrong not to look at the fundraising because Jackie Rosen definitely outspent him by a lot. Sam Brown didn't have that same name ID that Jackie Rosen did or that Trump did. We see that Jackie Rosen was able to outspend him by $26 million. And also in outside spending, she outspent him by like $54 million to like $46 million. So yeah, she definitely did have a lot more money, but still the big problem was that the voters who voted for Trump didn't vote for him down ballot. And of course, Arizona and Nevada were very crushing losses for the Republicans, but it didn't end there. The next race that we're going to be looking at is the race of Wisconsin, where Donald Trump won Wisconsin by 29,000 votes, which is a pretty small margin. But Tammy Baldwin won the state of Wisconsin by 28,000 votes. And so the big reason why Tammy Baldwin won is because left-wing billionaires propped up independent, right-leaning politicians who took away votes from Eric Hovde. Thomas Leger was a lot more extreme than Eric Hovde, and he took away 28,751 votes. If all of those voters had gone to Eric Hovde, he would have been 30 votes away from winning the Senate race. So this was definitely a crushing loss for the Republicans, considering that these independent, libertarian, and extreme Republicans took enough votes away from Eric Hovde to win the election. And if you look at the fundraising, it wasn't that bad. Of course, Tammy Baldwin did raise and spend like $27 million more than Eric Hovde, but that was not the big problem. The big problem is that these billionaires, these left-wing billionaires, propped up these candidates to take away votes from Eric Hovde. And so I think one of the things that Eric Hovde didn't do is he should have told those Republicans in ad messaging that voting for Thomas Leger and voting for Phil Anderson is actually vote for Tammy Baldwin. And so this was definitely a very sad loss for the Republican Party. And so I hope going into the future that they will be able to fix this problem and really get their messaging together and tell them that voting for these libertarian candidates is actually voting for the Democrat candidate. And then the last race that we have is Michigan, where Donald Trump won by 80,000 votes. I did not expect him to win by this much. I actually didn't expect him to win Michigan at all, but he did win by 80,000 votes, which is a pretty big margin. But then down on the Senate level, Alyssa Slotkin also won this race. Now, there's a few reasons why Alyssa Slotkin won this race. Number one, she was a very moderate, good Democrat candidate who was able to appeal to a lot of independents and even some Republicans in Michigan. Also, Mike Rogers could be seen as like a carpetbagger. He did come from Florida recently, so that was also not good. But another thing is, yet again, the independent candidate took away votes from Mike Rogers. He lost by 19,000 votes, and the Libertarian candidate won 56,000 votes. That is way more than Mike Rogers needed to win. Now, I'm not saying that all Libertarian voters are Republican, but I would say a majority, or even like 7 in 10 of them, are Republican. And so I think this disconnect between the Trump voters and then the people who vote on the Senate level, there's a big disconnect. And that's a problem that we saw in Wisconsin and Michigan. So I think going forward in Michigan, like I said in Wisconsin, Mike Rogers needed to address this problem of the Libertarian candidate. He needed to say that this Libertarian candidate, if you vote for him, it's going to be a vote for Alyssa Slotkin. And I think that would have been a very effective strategy, and I hope Republicans will learn from this loss in Michigan. So we've gone through all the states. Let's just do a quick recap on how Republicans can learn from their mistakes in upcoming elections. So for Arizona, of course, the big one is you need candidate equality. Arizona focuses a lot on candidate equality. And when you have someone like Kari Lake who polarizes her own party, that's not a good thing for Arizona. So for Arizona, we need better candidate equality. For Nevada, we need to reach out to the voters who vote for Trump at the top of the ticket and then just don't vote at all and vote none of these candidates. I think in future elections, Republicans need to really align themselves with Trump so that they can win these elections. And then Wisconsin, you need to reach out to the voters who are more extreme or more Republican than you are and saying a vote for this Republican who's more extreme than I am is a vote for Tammy Baldwin. And so if you vote for this independent or libertarian candidate, you're voting for Tammy Baldwin. And then also in Michigan, you need to reach out to the voters who vote for Donald Trump. You need to tell them also about the libertarian candidate, that a vote for that libertarian is a vote for Alyssa Slotkin. And so I hope Republicans will learn from their mistakes so that they don't lose more elections in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button down below and subscribe. Comment your thoughts or suggestions in the comment section down below. Shout out to Diana Barbie, our first channel member. If you would like to become a member, you can join near my channel logo. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.